What's up, guys? Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. Today we're focusing on something really interesting. It's a 356 Carrera Outlaw, but the special thing about it is it's pretty much the first Outlaw. We got Jay here, the owner. So this is like Jay's garage. It's not Jay Leno's garage, but it's Jay's garage, right?
The other Jay, yeah. We have more fun.
Yeah, so Jay was really nice enough to bring some of his cars to one of my Canon workshops. It allows students to shoot these cars that potentially they'll never have access to, right? So thank you so much for bringing your car. But today we're focusing on your awesome old school Porsche. Tell me a little bit about this thing.
Well, as you can see, it's totally bitchin'. And that's the words that Dean Jeffries, the creator, named the car. Dean Jeffries was a Hollywood legend, worked a little bit with George Barris. He's the one that painted Little Bastard on James Dean's Porsche Spider, which sadly we know the fate of it. The car is still missing. Anyway, that's what got Dean involved in Porsches. So he took a 356 Carrera and customized it and made it totally bitchin'. So this is Porsche Outlaw #1, the first ever. Built in '56 in Los Angeles, and here it is back, right where it began life. So you take a regular 356 Carrera with a 4-cam motor, very special. And what he did is he put a European front end on it to French the lights.
Yeah, let's check that out. So we are actually already had a chance to spend about an hour and a half on shooting this thing, and let me tell you, the lines, the way it shoots is unlike any other Porsche that I have shot. It's so special, and plus we're in West Los Angeles, and there's just this awesome backdrop here on top of this parking garage. It's just so unique. I've never seen anything like this. So you're telling me this was made in '56?
That's correct, yeah. It was called Frenching the headlights, and I'm a big fan of the French.
Bonjour, my friend. Let's grab a baguette together.
So it actually works out pretty well. A lot of period correct, obviously. 1950s, a lot of chrome, and a lot of influence taken. If we will take a walk to the back.
Oh, everything about.
You'll notice up here at the top with the 300 SL Gullwing roof vents, the lead slinger put these in. Mind you, this is all done by hand back in '56. This was added here in addition to the 300 SL style taillights that Dean actually drilled every little piece on the inside for the texture. So you do the math.
It's funny because it looks like LEDs almost.
It does look like LEDs, just about too.
Talk about ahead of its time.
Yeah, there's a lot of small details. Obviously the rear grille was custom made as well, in addition to a lot of chrome on the inside.
Well, so like what? Let's start little by little here. Tell me a little bit about the exhaust. This thing is so wild looking.
This is it's known as the Sebring Exhaust. It wakes up the neighbors. Obviously, to the tribute to the 550 Spiders that ran at Sebring, in addition to all the other Porsche race cars. Every so often it shoots fireballs too, which is pretty cool when you run the high test race gas in it.
Maybe we'll see a little bit of that later, I don't know. But this thing is just, yeah, it is so cool. What about the wheels? Look at the wheels are like perfect. So you
chrome, lots of chrome.
Those can't be original.
They're original 356 wheels with drum brakes, and they were taken apart and chromed with so much of the rest of the chrome on the car. So that's kind of where it was really started. I mean, just the amount of intricate detail and the additional chroming, really kind of ties it together.
So where has this car been up until now before it got to your hands?
So it was sold new in Southern California. It remained here. Dean got it when it was just maybe 6 months old and made the transformation. It toured, went on so everybody could see. It was in Hot Rod magazine, full custom. We've got all the magazines that it's been in since then. Around the early 60s, it was for sale for $9,000. Just for reference, at that point, a 300 SL Gullwing was about $5,000.
Yeah.
Needless to say, it sold eventually to Albert Nasbaum, who drove it to Florida, robbed a bank, got away with it for a little bit, and then the feds came, they seized the car, he went to prison, and it ended up in Florida for some time, where it just kind of was forgotten about until Jack Walter from Georgia scrounged up enough money to buy it. I believe it was 1970 or 71 for $1,100. And he took it and started the transformation until basically what did you see here today. He definitely had a lot of fun with it, and we felt it was necessary to bring it back to Los Angeles to say where the car started life and put it back on tour since it's been hiding down south all these years.
Unbelievable. What an interesting story behind this car. So have you done any work to it to kind of fix it up or update it?
None whatsoever. We haven't even changed the oil yet, but we plan on doing that every 3,000 miles, and we intend on putting a lot of miles on it.
That's what I like about you guys. You guys actually drive your cars.
What's the point of having it if you don't drive it?
So can you say how much you think this is worth at this point?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's the first ever Outlaw Porsche. There's only one, folks. Some say $1 million, some say $2 million. Some people don't like it at all because it's too radical. Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, some people don't like me at all either, but you know, hey.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So can we take a look at the engine bay?
Absolutely.
Wow, there's just some interesting styling cues, like this Iron Cross. I just noticed that. So that was originally put on.
Yeah,
back
in the 50s.
Wow, that is crazy. Amazing. This craftsmanship. This is so cool. So you guys are gonna hate me, but this texture,
right? This
was done back in 1956
by Dean. Yeah.
This looks exactly like what they do in elevators now. So people don't graffiti the elevators, right?
Interesting. Well, there's a little graffiti on the dash to match it as well.
Oh, really? So tell me a little bit about the engine.
So this is a Porsche 4-cam. It's supposedly a roller bearing crank. That was the original one, the 1500. This is now a 1600 plain bearing crank. The motor that was in this that Mr. Walter ran for so many years was from Porsche Spyder 550 number 22 that ran at Sebring, burnt a piston. They left the motor there, if you can believe it. These motors are very rare, hard to come by. If you can even find one that's in pieces, it's going to be a minimum of $300,000 to $400,000, and there's maybe 4 people in the world that can work on it. Being worth so valuable, a trade was arranged to put this motor and reunite the original 1500 roller crank with Spyder 22, which is in Italy. This is the Furman 4-cam motor built by Ernest Furman because it increased the horsepower and gave you 6 miles an hour faster on the straights at Le Mans, and 6 miles an hour rather over 24 hours. Well, it's the difference between winning and losing the race. So it was never a traditional pushrod motor like a lot of the other 356s. And this motor's been proven by Porsche that they ran in most of their race cars and still use a lot of the same technology as today.
Man, and it runs like a top today, which is just, it looks like it's in such amazing condition. It's unbelievable. Very, very cool. There's just so many little details that I kind of poured over photographing this car. There's just so many little things, like what's going on with this? This is graffiti, as you were saying?
This is the graffiti, the Walters graffiti. That's actually the light for the fog lights right over there. Which, why it's all the way over there, I don't know, but it never gets foggy enough to use it. As you can see, a few additional period correct gauges were installed, oil pressure, and the charging system. And everything you pretty much see here is how the car was, including the full leather pleats, leather interior, leather dash, and the leather rear area as well.
And leather floor mats.
Yeah.
You know, the coolest thing to me is this right here.
The tuck and roll.
Yeah, I don't, it's so weird that it's here, like it's the sill, the door sill area is wrapped in leather. It's actually pretty cool.
Dripping in leather and chrome.
So you think this was just kind of a design feature? Huh?
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing.
Absolutely.
It just looks like a rattle can.
Just about, yeah.
And it lasted this long.
Lasted this long, that's correct. This is the original condition as from 1956.
Wow. So that, in a way, that is Is that functional then? It kind of escapes the air?
Yeah, it does get a little warm sometimes when you're sitting in Southern California traffic. Much like a Gullwing, it lets the hot air escape.
Can we check out the frunk?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you about. What's up with this badge here?
This is the Reuter VIN tag. So this is number 56083, and this is the original numbers that correspond to the car from Porsche.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like this design,
You put, yeah, so
it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's definitely repeated throughout, which is pretty cool. And they kept the original plate over it, the original VIN plate.
Wow. So that wasn't from Porsche then?
No, all this has been added, correct, yeah.
It's all the little details that I really, really enjoyed seeing. It's actually pretty clean under here.
Yeah, so as you see, more chrome throughout, the fuel tank straps, the fuel tank, the filler lid, even the mechanism here is just the real attention to detail. That was obviously never done by Porsche. I mean, it's a lot of time and it's a lot of detail, and it's all been done right.
So he actually drilled the holes and everything here too?
So this is the factory hood and the factory hinges, but the hinges have been taken off, plated, or sanded down plated, so it matches in addition to the fuel straps, the filler cap, and the rest of the hardware here. I think that's pretty much about it. It's back, and this you'll be seeing a lot more of it, hopefully, so stay tuned.
Can you start it so we can hear it? So cool. Awesome. Dude, thank you so much for showing this beautiful machine. This time machine right here. It really is a time machine. It's like this historic piece in car modifying history, right? Oh, look at just how cool is that? I can't believe everything works.
As it should.
Yeah, amazing. Well, that's a wrap. We're gonna get some rolling shots, and man, I just can't wait to see this more on the road. Oh, gonna get a ride in it. This thing is sweet. Jeez. Oh man. So is this a 4-speed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Traditional Volkswagen Porsche shift pattern.
And it has no seatbelts, of course.
And it has no seatbelts.
Yeah.
It got in the way of racing. Race cars don't have seatbelts.
Yeah. Well, you had to
radios.
run. You had to run to your car.
Yeah.
Right? It's
a
a foot
lost
race.
start, and that's why the ignition's on the left side.
Yeah. So you could put it into first gear while you're starting.
While you're starting, yeah.
Save those milliseconds. There you go. Hell yeah. Oh, this thing is so cool. I love that there's a clock.
Yeah. It's right twice a day.
Oh, I like
out
that.
the way.
I like that horn. Silver though, it just looks so good.
It's the right lighting too.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to me because this is before Aero was a thing, and they're thinking, Porsche is thinking, is like, well, hey, let's make it as round as possible. You know?
That's right, yeah.
Let's just make it try to slip through the air like an egg. And this is basically what this is. This is a flying egg.